Hello, friends. Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today I'll be creating an autumn bucket list before the fall season begins. So let's get to it. And I've got some printed pages here on some white cardstock ready to go, as well as this label sheet of a printable with my bucket list. I also need a disc punch, a ruler, and probably some scissors, and that should be about it. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and jump in. I already printed out the printable that I've been using for the past couple of bucket lists for autumn, and I did it on a half sheet of label paper to fit better into my half letter discbound planner. I also grabbed out a couple of images from that bucket list printable that I had purchased on Etsy and used it to create this big image that I'll be using as the cover of my bucket list. I had two options and decided on this pumpkin spice one over the sweater. Just thought the sweater might be better for winter, so I'll go ahead and save that and maybe use it in a winter bucket list that I create. So I did have to modify this image a little bit. I had to stretch it out because it was a little too tall and narrow for a good bucket list cover. So I went ahead and, like I said, stretched it. And I also did a little bit of manipulation because I wanted to add in the autumn bucket list title to the front, and there wasn't really a good place to do it. So you can see the difference between the one that's on the sheet. It's really tiny there in the kind of upper right corner versus the one that I have here. You can get an idea of what I did to change the image. And if you want to see more about how I actually grabbed the image and manipulate it on my computer in order to create this cover sheet, I did show the whole process on the summer bucket list option, which I'll tag up here in the video as well as link it in the description. Okay, so I went ahead and fussy cut out this cover of a pumpkin spice latte, I think, and cut it in half. A lot of times I'll take my time trying to figure out exactly the middle, but for this one I'm not going to worry too much. It's a pretty abstract shape. It's not very symmetrical, so making a cut a little off won't be a big deal. And I went ahead and punched it, but I did not push it in far enough when I punched it through, which was super disappointing. So I went ahead and finished the punch and wanted to check and see how bad it looked in the rings with the extra punch that I had to do in order to punch it correctly. And honestly, I thought it looked fine. You can't really see the missed punch, so I'm just gonna go with it. I just didn't feel like reprinting it and starting all over. And I don't know if you guys are following my channel at all, but I feel like lately I've just been making silly mistakes like this that don't really need to happen. And they're not super detrimental, but I don't know. It's just not my normal thing. I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm just not doing my normal execution of things when I'm making these DIY projects. So my apologies, but again, learn from my mistakes. Hopefully this will help you not make the same mistakes I'm making. Make sure your cover image is pushed in all the way before you push down that punch. So I've already grabbed out the label sheet that I made on my printer as well, using that printable from Etsy. That will also be linked down below if you are interested in this same printable. And it included all 4 seasons as well as a Christmas bucket list, which was really cool. So I've been using this all year long since last year. So really excited about this set. I like that the image is kind of already there, matched up with the actual bucket list items, so I don't have to go on a sticker hunt. And so now I'm just kind of cutting them down and trying to fit them in as best I can into the back of the cover sheet. And I am not going to be doing any of the Halloween things, so I'm just going to cut those out and not include those. I don't really celebrate Halloween. So that is a couple of areas where I'll get a little more room for adding in some extra stuff. And as you can see, I am borderline here on a lot of these as far as fitting them into the back. So I am cutting them down and trying to puzzle piece this together before I commit anything down, just to make sure everything fits. And I am trying to trim off as much of the excess as I can as well before I lay it down, just so that it lays a little bit cleaner here on the backing. Now this printable did come with those little check-off circles, which I like actually, but it's on label paper, so it's kind of hard to use a normal pen on that in order to check things off. But I always have a Sharpie at hand when I'm doing my planner stuff, so I'm just going to use a Sharpie to actually check off the items on that label paper directly. That has been working out great. So just an FYI on that. If that's something that you'd rather not have to deal with, then you can always cut off those little circles before you lay things down and then draw in your own afterward where it fits. You know, make adjustments as needed. And you can see I even cut some of these apart in order to fit them into some of these more awkward spaces. That's all worked really, really well. We'll go ahead and do this side, and I will trim down some of the excess, as I mentioned, to try to get it to fit around the holes so I don't have to worry about repunching those holes or cleaning them out. It's really nice when I don't have to move too much off or, you know, have too many individual items. So anything that I could pull off in a chunk, I'm definitely trying that first and then fitting things around. And we're looking good here. We'll go ahead and get this larger one here in at the top, and then some of these smaller ones on the side, we'll get those going. I wanted to get this done ahead of time this season just because I have been so busy and I'm not really sure what I want to do for my fall refresh for my planner, but since it's my favorite kind of season as far as decor and stuff, I just wanted to make sure I got as much done as possible so I would have time to really trick out my planner with all the fall things and make things cute and enjoyable to be in during this fall season. So I went ahead and cleaned out that last hole that actually had a little bit of extra sticker on top of it. And that is pretty much it, friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, to go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye!